Despite centuries of exploration, Earth still harbors places so remote and untouched that few have ever laid eyes on them. Shrouded in mystery and natural beauty, these isolated corners remain pristine. Let us journey through the world's most inaccessible locations, beginning with the enigmatic Kulan Islands. What if you could discover a place so remote, so untouched, that it feels as if the world forgot it ever existed? Far off the coast of Russia's Far East, the Kulan Islands drift between clouds and time. These volcanic remnants, battered by Pacific storms, have no cities, no ports, only cliffs, salt, and silence. Long ago, they caught the gaze of the Soviets, outposts watching the ocean. But history has faded here, leaving behind only moss-covered stones and wind-chiseled memories. Nature, however, has never left. Seabirds spiral endlessly above. Seals rest on basalt shores, and every breeze carries the scent of freedom, raw, crisp, wild. You won't find shops, you won't find signs, you might not even find another soul. But that's the point. The Kulan Islands aren't for tourists, they're for listeners. Every crash of a wave, every whisper of grass beneath stone is an invitation to slow down and let the island speak first. To stand here is to feel small, to feel ancient, to remember what the earth sounded like before the cities came. There's no path forward on Kulan, only footprints that vanish in the tide and a silence that follows you home. You won't get here by accident. Tristan da Cunha is the kind of place that makes you question the scale of the world. Located over 2,400 kilometers from the nearest continent, it is officially the most remote inhabited island on Earth. And it feels exactly like that. No airport, no fast food, no traffic lights. Just one small village, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, where fewer than 300 people share not just the land, but life itself. They fish together, farm together, fix roofs after storms, and celebrate small victories as if they were legends. In the shadow of Queen Mary's Peak, a dormant volcano looms like a silent ancestor. The island rises sharply from the ocean, a fortress of lava and mist. It is beautiful and humbling. What Tristan lacks in convenience, it makes up for in clarity. Here, the sky is wider, the stars brighter, the silence deeper. Visitors are rare, but those who arrive often feel as though they have stepped outside of time, into a rhythm older than electricity or screens. Because here, the day is marked by the tide, the year by the potato harvest, and time by the stories passed down beside a fire. Tristan da Cunha is not for everyone, but for those who seek simplicity or long to hear the ocean without interruption, it might be everything. Mog County doesn't greet you with a smile. It waits, distant and silent, like a mountain deciding whether to let you pass. Tucked deep in Ngari Prefecture on the western edge of Tibet, Mog is often left off maps, overlooked by travelers chasing grandeur. But that is exactly what makes it unforgettable. This is a land of extremes. Glacial lakes shimmering beside parched desert valleys, ancient stupas rising alone in the wind. The altitude steals your breath, and so does the view. You won't find bustling streets here, only nomads in motion, their yaks tracing paths through silence. The sun is harsh, but the smiles are gentle, weathered by wind, warmed by faith. In Mog, the monasteries are not just buildings, they are living archives. Every mural, every bell, every chant echoes with centuries of devotion. Time moves slowly here, bending around the mountains. Battery Point Light, where the ocean meets memory. Some landmarks are grand, others are gentle. Battery Point Light is both, modest in size, yet vast in soul. Located just off Crescent City, California, this lighthouse has stood as a sentinel of safety since 1856. Back then, ships hugged the foggy coast, navigating blindly through treacherous rocks. Built with thick stone walls and crowned with a fourth-order Fresnel lens, Battery Point once ran on whale oil and human vigilance. The keepers, many of them families, lived inside, waking at odd hours, battling storms, and trimming wicks by hand. It's a place where tides dictate your visit. At low tide, a narrow rocky path appears, allowing passage on foot. At high tide, that path vanishes, leaving the lighthouse marooned like a shipwreck from another time. It has weathered more than the sea. In 1964, a devastating tsunami swept through Crescent City. Battery Point stood firm, the water clawing at its base, but never bringing it down. Battery Point doesn't shout. It glows quietly, eternally, defiantly. You won't find Caboro Station in travel brochures. It doesn't offer famous views, luxury trains, or crowds with cameras. Instead, it gives you something rarer: silence. Located in the remote reaches of Hokkaido, Japan's northernmost island, Caboro Station is barely a dot on the railway line. There's no staff, no vending machines, just a narrow platform, a simple shelter, and a kind of sacred stillness. In winter, it's swallowed by snow. The surrounding landscape turns white, and the station feels like it's floating in a memory. A lone bench sits quietly under the weight of time. Decades ago, this station was a lifeline for loggers and fishermen. Today, its purpose is less practical and more poetic. It connects not just 2 points, but 2 emotions: solitude and reflection. Caboro Station reminds us that places don't need to be grand to be meaningful. They just need to be still long enough for us to listen. What would you do if you saw a 250-ton boulder balancing on a slope and it never moved? In the ancient coastal town of Mahabalipuram, India, such a stone exists. It's called Krishna's butterball. Despite centuries of weather, earthquakes, and even human attempts to move it, the rock remains motionless, resting defiantly on a 45-degree hill. According to Hindu mythology, young Krishna, known for his fondness for butter, dropped this stone from the sky during a playful moment. To this day, people call it his butterball, a divine leftover from childhood. In the 19th century, the British tried to dislodge it using elephants, but they failed. Local legends say even the gods gave up trying to explain it. But here's what's real. The granite is over 1,000 years old. It weighs more than a commercial airplane. And yet, it sits, unmoved, in quiet rebellion against gravity. Visitors come not just to see a rock, but to witness the impossible. Children laugh and run beneath it. Elders look on in awe, and some sit beside it in silence, wondering if there's a message here. Surrounded by temples carved from the same golden stone, Krishna's butterball blends nature and mythology into one enduring mystery. It's playful, it's poetic, and above all, it's perfectly still. Not every mystery hides in the shadows. Some shine beneath the sun, plain, steady, and quiet, like Niihau. Tucked away in the Hawaiian archipelago, just 17 miles west of Kauai, Niihau is often called the Forbidden Island. But it isn't forbidden out of fear, it's preserved out of love. With no paved roads, no hotels, and no humming electricity, Niihau has chosen silence over speed and tradition over traffic. Hawaiian is still spoken here as the first language. Children grow up with stories instead of screens. This island is a living museum, not of the past, but of the present, preserved. A place where wild monk seals rest undisturbed and native birds sing without competition, where community matters more than convenience. Since 1864, the island has been privately owned by the Robinson family. Their stewardship has kept the culture alive, the land intact, and the distractions out. You won't find Niihau in travel brochures. You won't book a room or take a tour. But maybe that's the point. It exists not for our selfies, but for its people. Not for consumption, but for continuity. And knowing that such a place still endures, untouched, unhurried, is a kind of hope. Somewhere in the heart of the South Atlantic, where the ocean and sky speak louder than humans ever could, rises a place that seems born from myth, Inaccessible Island. No harbors welcome you here. No paths invite your steps. Towering cliffs, relentless waves, and isolation so complete, even time seems reluctant to visit. This volcanic island, part of the Tristan da Cunha group, is one of the most remote places on Earth. Fewer than a handful have ever set foot on it, and even fewer have stayed. But don't mistake solitude for emptiness. Inaccessible Island teems with life. Seabirds by the tens of thousands nest on its rocky slopes. Tiny flightless rails, birds that evolved here and nowhere else, scurry between moss and stone, never needing wings to leave. Its name is not a metaphor, it is a declaration. No planes land here, no ferries dock. The sea is your only road, and it rarely shows mercy. Yet this very inaccessibility is its strength. With no permanent human presence and almost no external impact, the island remains one of the planet's most pristine ecosystems. It is a sanctuary forged by fire, protected by fury. A fortress of nature, a whisper in the wind, a promise that some wonders, the rarest of them, remain untamed. Some landscapes are loud, bustling with stories and people, but not Itor. Here, time doesn't rush, it lingers. In the sand, in the stone, in the shadows. Hidden away in a forgotten valley of the African interior, Itor is a name few maps remember, but one the wind never forgets. Its stones are older than language. Its silence is older than memory. No gates, no signs, no tourist stalls, only a stretch of golden dust and stone walls etched with lines that resemble both art and message. There are no written histories of Itor. What remains are whispers in rock, echoes in shape. The ruins don't explain, they suggest. As you walk among the relics, you realize Itor is not meant to impress. It's meant to pause you, to slow your steps, to tune you back to the rhythm of the earth, the kind we've forgotten in cities and screens. The sun casts long shadows here. They move like time itself, slowly, deliberately. And within those shadows, you begin to feel small, in a good way. When you leave Itor, you don't talk much. You carry it with you in silence like a secret, like a promise that some things are still beyond explanation.